Okay, now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly why women are typically in a constant state of perpetual unhappiness, especially regarding the men that they are dating or the men that they are about to date or the potential options that they have. This isn't your fault. Okay, if you are currently seeing a woman, if you are currently in a relationship, if you have currently dated a woman in the past and things have not worked out, I'm going to tell you this, it is not 100% necessarily your fault. The problem is that oftentimes hypergamy is going to make her less satisfied in you for a variety of reasons that I'm about to show you. And on top of that, I'm even going to show you how to get around this so that way you are constantly the guy who's framed as her potential best option. Now, the reason why you have to join us inside of this movement and inside of this community, for example, we had a guy comment the other day. He goes, Casey, cause and effect. He goes, y'all really don't know the impact Casey is making with language of women. He says, it blows my mind how 10 plus years of his life helps us yield the sword of our newfound masculinity. He says, turning the page slowly and letting her read the book over time is a real thing. You see, I'm showing guys specifically how to make sure that you craft yourself as the story that she never wants to stop reading. If you shift your eyes to the bottom of the post, he says, I can feel the very real tension I'm creating with my gym crush, and it's all thanks to @Casey Zander. He says, feeling grateful for you, bro. These are the transformations that I'm seeing every single day. So after today's video is over, be sure to join us inside of that. Okay, so in today's video, I'm showing you why women are in a state of perpetual unhappiness when they date. Let's just start with the first column because this is the main premise of the entire video, okay? Hypergamy keeps them in a state of permanent discontentment. They are discontent with who's in front of them or the man that is in front of them. They are completely, oftentimes, discontent because of hypergamy. So what that means is her entire mating strategy or who she's going to invest in. Here's what you have to understand about women as a whole when they typically will start to date or when they're constantly exercising different options. Her whole mating strategy is to find ways to replace you. So the truth is that I'm not saying that in a positive light or a negative light. I'm saying that as this just is, okay? This just is how it works, okay? Her entire or her whole mating strategy is to find ways to replace you. So subconsciously, the question that's floating through her head at all times is, can I do better? So what that means is hypergamy optimizes for perfect, okay? Well, none of us are perfect. But the reason why they're oftentimes discontent or permanently in a state of discontentment is because this is what hypergamy is optimizing for. So there's always a small piece of her that's sitting there going, what if I can do better? And this is what creates that feeling of, I'm not happy in this relationship, or I'm not happy with who I'm with or whoever's in front of me or whatever. So you can be 6'5", and subconsciously she might be sitting there going, if only he was richer. Okay, you can be famous. You can be a famous musician, famous whatever. And she might be sitting there looking at you going, if only he was just a little bit taller. Okay? You can have great masculine frame, and she might be sitting there looking at you going, oh, he's so manly, he's so masculine, but if only I had a man of status who was popular or famous in front of me. This is what happens. Hypergamy optimizes for perfect. This is why you hear people say, Mr. Perfect. Okay? Hypergamy makes them value different things at different times in their life. So here's the funniest thing about dating. Sometimes you are the right guy, but for the wrong job. Or what that means, if you take this one step further, if what I have here at face value is sometimes you're the right guy, but for the wrong job, sometimes you're the right guy, but at the wrong time, right? Maybe you're the bad boy, right? But she has finally entered into a stage in her life where she's ready to settle down or have kids, or she wants more predictability and stability in her life. So even though you're attractive and arousing, she wants something different. This is what you're oftentimes going to find. Or the flip side could be true. Maybe you have stability, and let's say you're great for her future security, right? But at the same time, maybe she's in a stage in her life where she's maximizing the bad boy traits and she wants something that's very arousing. Sometimes you are the right guy, but for the wrong job. So sometimes they won't even give you enough time to show your value. So say this with me one more time. They won't even give you enough time to show your value because their emotions are what guides them. So if their emotions tell them, no, let's move on to the next one really quick. If she's discarding you, even if you have tons of value to bring to the table, she just didn't allow you enough time to actually show it. This brings me to my next point. You have to understand that their emotions will always guide them to drama, chaos, and tension. Okay? Say that with me one more time. Their emotions will always guide them to drama, chaos, and tension. If the tension isn't at you, or the drama is not being directed at you, The drama could be started or directed through things like reality TV. She could be getting her fix through social media. She could be getting it through looking at other dudes online, on apps, or even on social media. Okay, it could come from a variety of these things. Because at all times, here's what you have to understand. She's comparing you to the fantasy of what she thinks they have that you don't. Okay, say this with me one more time. She is comparing you, okay, to the fantasy of what she thinks they have that you don't. This is called female nature, optimizing for hypergamy and optimizing for Mr. Perfect. So, she'd be unhappy with them too. This is what you have to understand. This dream guy who she looks at sitting on a reality TV show, or this dream guy that she looks at sitting on social media, if she had him in real life, she'd be like, oh wait, you have to go to the bathroom too? Oh wait, you snore when you sleep too? Right, she's gonna start finding flaws in him too. So she would be unhappy with him too. And if it's not right away, it's oftentimes just in a matter of time. So it's not just you. This is why, like, when I tell you some of these things are not your fault, you can't control Mother Nature. You can't control how the world works. I can't control how I was born. You can't control how you were born. This is just the world we live in. So it's better to just understand these things so you can choose how to lay your cards more wisely, because then you can look at dating for more of like a logical and calculated decision as to how you move, instead of getting overly invested into a specific girl and then things go south. Okay, so shifting our attention to this column. Majority of all women have one guy or one specific guy who will hold their heart forever. So this is what you have to know. If you are dating women, I would say above the ages of 24, there's a very high chance that she had a guy pull away from her or break her heart or stop talking to her that she really liked. This is called that one main guy, the one guy. This is him. This is the guy that she will always oftentimes want. She could be 45 years old and she still is thinking about this one guy who got away. So, majority of all women have one guy who will hold their heart for life. A relationship can't make her want to be loyal. So this is like a long list of things that I really need to kind of help you understand. A relationship cannot make her want to be loyal to you, okay? A conversation cannot make her want to be loyal to you. Not only that, being good to her cannot make her want to be loyal to you, because the female heart operates on its own time frame. She's loyal to the man that she wants to be loyal to. So if you're a guy and you're seeing a girl, and let's say maybe you're not even hinting at a relationship, she doesn't know what you're doing in your free time, you're out running around doing whatever, you don't even really check in with her, she can't even necessarily tell if you guys have a real relationship that's being formed or not, you will find women who actually commit to that guy on their own without even having a conversation. Her emotions just work in his favor, and she'll close off all other options, and her heart is loyal to him. So she's now closed for business. This is how it happens. She's loyal to the man that she wants to be loyal to. So sometimes, here's what you got to understand. He could be rude. Like, the guy could be rude. Maybe he's rude. He maybe could sleep with other girls. Maybe he may not even really care about her a whole lot. Maybe he doesn't even really care about her. But the relationship, okay, or the female heart decides on its own who she will always be drawn to. She looks at him and she goes, it's just him. There's something about him. I'm loyal to him no matter what. I could maybe not see him for months at a time and I'm still going to be loyal to him. So she could just say there's something about him and no matter what, I'm loyal to him. And that's how the female heart works and oftentimes operates. So you cannot convince or ask a woman to be loyal to you. This is something she does on her own. This took me a lot of years to figure out. When I was first growing up, I thought that eventually when you start dating a girl, you guys probably talk about it and then you decide you're in a relationship. Oh, no, no, no. That is not true. Those words hold no weight, because she's going to commit to the guy she wants to commit to, whether there has been a formal conversation involved in that or not. You cannot convince or ask a woman to be loyal to you. Her emotions allow her to self-select who she's committed to, often without that man asking or saying a single word. This is called feelings. When her feelings build to a certain point, or when her feelings build to a certain level, she starts to actually gravitate towards him, and now she doesn't want any other men. So she is often permanently unhappy and unsatisfied until she finds her idea of him. And I don't know what her idea of him is. It's different for every woman. Sometimes it's this guy. Sometimes it's a guy with these characteristics. Sometimes it's a guy who thinks this way. Sometimes it's a guy who does this in his personal life. Sometimes it's a guy who carries himself this way. I can't necessarily pinpoint it because it's different for every single woman. But what you have to understand is she is oftentimes permanently unhappy and unsatisfied until she finds her idea of him. Okay, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a recap how you can hopefully be that guy with the majority of women that you're seeing. But stay with me here. Her idea of him, it may be her fantasy that she finds in movies. It may be her fantasy or her idea through books. Okay, it may be like its own fantasy with who she sees online or through social media. But here's what I can tell you, okay? Her emotions are going to decide for her who she loves, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing that you can do about it. So now let's shift back to this column, okay? When you look at this at a deeper level, if hypergamy is optimizing for Mr. Perfect, and let's say you know hypothetically that let's say hypergamy is the one thing that is dictating where their emotions are oftentimes going, what I can tell you is this: you will oftentimes win over that woman's emotional side of her heart if you are showing a discrepancy in sexual market value. So what that means is if you show that you don't necessarily need a relationship, you can go extended periods of time without conversation. Oftentimes you don't necessarily feel as if you need to commit to a relationship very quickly, and you let things play out in due time. The more she gets to know you, the more she gets to know your sense and your feeling of personality, and she gets to learn who you are as a human slowly, page by page, and uncover you almost like a storybook or a novel. She wants to keep discovering new things about you. By you remaining emotionally detached, it will oftentimes create feelings of her emotional attachment. It's an inverse relationship. This is oftentimes too the polarity between the masculine and the feminine. So as I started showing guys inside of our community the language of women, we had another guy. He goes, I've had more success in the past 2 weeks than I've had in the last 2 years. He says, doing the Lord's work, brother. Honored to be on the ground floor with you, at Casey Zander. These are the messages that I'm seeing. If you come into our community, you're going to see hundreds of men. We've had over 620 guys enroll into this community, and I'm watching these guys' lives change for the better because they're actually regaining a sense of fulfillment in their dating life, because they're actually learning, understanding, and mastering the language of women. And I've created an entire comprehensive system for you to do so, to make this easy for you, so that way you don't have to keep watching all these random videos and trying to piece this puzzle together for yourself. I give you the puzzle pre-made. It's already done. You just have to take it, you implement it, and you actually use it in your own dating life to get results. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.